Hey guys, welcome to the channel if you're new, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Special thanks to all of my patrons. My name's Neil, and it's time for the next episode of Arcane. As I've said before guys, this is not my first time watching Arcane. I'm watching it for the second time because I fell in love with it the first time. First time I watched it a number of months ago, I didn't think I knew enough about League of Legends or these characters to bring anything interesting to the commentary. And so I made the mistake of not making it a reaction, and I just watched it on my own instead. And I fell in love with it almost immediately. Visually, it's incredible. The story is stellar. I find the voice acting top-notch, and ever since I watched it, I had to watch it again. So making amends by doing this style of reaction now, where I want to talk more about what makes this show special as we watch it. This is obviously a particularly powerful episode that we're about to rewatch, and I'm excited to see it again. I'll obviously lose some of the emotional impact perhaps, but I'm hoping I'll catch nuance and detail that I may have missed the first time. And just a reminder guys, this isn't my first time watching this. This shouldn't be your first time watching Arcane either. Watch the original content first, then come and see me and we can discuss it. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this episode in particular and the series in general. I'd also love to hear your recommendations. If this is clearly something that I've fallen in love with based on me liking this, is there anything else animated perhaps that you think I'd really dig as well? I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions as far as that's concerned. But where did we leave off last episode? Vi is in Benzo's, about to turn herself over to the enforcers. Most of the undercity is ready to fight Piltover and take back what they feel has been taken from them. Vander has realized what Vi is doing, and we had one of those heart-stopping cliffhangers where we just don't know what's about to happen next. So, with all of that in mind, let's jump into the next episode of Arcane. This is episode 3, and it's called The Base Violence Necessary for Change.
Ever wonder what it's like to drown? There's peace in water.
Hearing this, it makes a lot of sense why Silco's lair is underwater and feels like it's underwater with those massive windows. It's where he feels at peace.
There's this thing in your head, and it's raging. To fight. To survive. For that, I thank you, old friend.
I'd love to get more of that backstory. Vander and Silco as young men. Like what? Obviously they disagreed about the role of the Undercity and the future of Zon and everything else. But what drives Vander to drown his friend Silco? Something for season 2 perhaps. Right where we left off.
You've got a good heart. Don't ever lose it. No matter how the world tries to break you. Protect the family.
And Vander's gonna take the fall. There was a witch's hat with a face painted on it. Looked a lot like the Sorting Hat.
I'm not putting you away, Vander.
The council needs its pound of flesh.
Without you down here, it all falls apart.
It's the only way.
What's happening?
I love that we get so much of this next scene only from Vi's perspective, only through the dirty tinted glass. Yeah. Such a shame we lose Grayson. Like, necessary, because you need Marcus as sheriff for this story to progress. But what an awesome character she was.
You never did know when to walk away.
Wait!
So fast. I love how they use such shallow depth of field in these really violent scenes. So only certain parts of the frame are in focus. First time I saw this, I could have sworn Vander was dead. Like that was a neck-breaking punch. And what was Grayson and Vander and a tenuous but working piece is now Marcus and Silco and it's silent screams. The fact that we don't hear her scream at all, I think, is even more powerful.
They took him.
Yeah. That's all she needs to know he's not dead.
Even with your monsters, you won't win a war against Piltover.
I don't have to. I just need to scare them.
You'll get people killed.
And he's
For
going
what?
through, like,
Pride?
withdrawals.
For respect.
The shimmer is such an interesting idea. I mean, it's a drug, but it also ends up powering this tech.
A dream of freedom. The whole of the underground, united as one. The nation of Zorn. You betrayed me.
I've never forgiven myself. You are my brother.
We have the power. We can finally realize our dream.
You'd sacrifice everything that we are. It's not the way.
You die for the cause, but you won't fight for one.
I'm just not that man anymore.
Yeah, the revolution kind of broke him, didn't it? That uprising on the bridge. I wonder if she was aligned with Silco at all prior to now. Like, we know she had her little confrontation with Vander in the last drop. You look weak.
Heimerdinger will recognize the potential.
He already does. It scares him. It scares them all.
What about you?
One night, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Impress me, or I'd suggest you pack your bags.
She loves the idea of innovation, and therefore greater wealth.
Where's the...
Oh, you're back.
Benzo's dead.
Dead?
They took Vander. You're not coming.
I'm not afraid.
It's too dangerous.
But families stick together. You said it yourself.
I know
Yeah.
what I said.
I want to fight. I can help.
You're not ready.
Complete contradiction of the rooftop scene.
You're all I have left.
Can't lose you.
I can't lose you.
But by protecting her,
Here.
yeah. What a sad little tableau there. Because she really, I mean, she's so well intentioned. So where did this one come from? Were there more gems in the apartment somewhere else?
Are you sure you know what
Because
you're
it
doing?
feels like Powder took them all except the one that fell out of her pocket and blew up. And where did they come from? Like, where did the gems come from to begin with? Yeah. Don't slam the briefcase full of explosive gems. So there's 4 here. She uses 3 tonight, leaving just the one. And she's smart enough to figure out what they do.
I can help them.
The best of intentions. The best laid plans of mice and men.
Incredible.
Such an interesting moment. Like, does it turn time back momentarily? Like just a second or two? Or did it like literally like just reform all the damage? Like suck the explosion back in? Because it never felt like Jason Victor went back in time. It just feels like the effect of the magic did.
Vi, what are you doing here?
We're breaking you out.
Oh, there's guards everywhere.
It was easy. We found an open window and...
Too easy.
I'm afraid this will be a very short reunion.
He's got an intimidating gang of henchmen, that's for sure. And I love that this is the first guy she meets.
Fine.
There's the poster. Just not scared at all. One Punch Girl. What awesome slow-mo right there. Oh, it's so good. Just cinematic. The punch right into the rail like that. Come on, Milo. Pick like you've never picked before.
You can do this.
What a good dad. None of this, hurry, hurry. It's, you can do this. Relax. Yeah.
We're gonna get you out.
Get in there, Clagger. They're so close to doing it, too. Silco's awfully reserved here. No, no. The fact that he holds her back is kind of crazy. The shimmered out monster is the sub-boss. And I don't know the woman's name. I'm not sure we've even been given it, but she's next after this.
Stop this lunacy and whip! Get almost through.
Breaking down two doors at once. What's happening behind those doors is going to redefine the whole city. Wow. Look what we did. Not exactly sure how, but look what we did.
This is not what Piltover's future looks like, my dear boys.
How wrong
That's
you
for
are.
the council to decide. Perhaps it's time for the era of magic.
For the era of Hextech.
Death Monkey.
You have to work. For me, okay?
The monkey literally nods to her when she presses her forehead against it. Yeah. Go, Clagger. Don't hesitate. I keep wishing this would go differently. I know how it's gonna go. The spikes inside the symbols is just a little psycho move. There we go. All clear. Door open. There's an escape imminent, and boom. It all would have been fine. Oh. And I love how they decided to do this. Showing the explosion, I think 5 times in total, just the 5 different things it did all at once, you know. First launching powder, then taking out Silco and his henchman, knocking out her arm, by the way, blowing in the door right here. Oh, and just like that, the boys are gone. Yeah. Oh. I remember the first time seeing this, going, I thought we'd be growing up with Clagger and Milo. And look at her face, because she thinks she saved the day. And it said she set off this insane explosion. Vi and Vander aren't dead yet, but there's no doubt about the boys. And didn't kill the shimmered out dude. the anger behind each one of those hits. I mean, you're orphaned, you lose your parents. She sees... Yeah. She knows exactly what that means. Now you've lost your two brothers. Your adopted father. Like... No one ever said Silco wasn't smart. And we're right back, just like the drowning from years ago. But one more stab.
I knew you still had it in you.
Well, that's about still having the fight in you. Fighting for the cause. There he is, he's fighting for the cause. Oh, man. There's something about that little shard of glass in his finger that's... it's just so evocative. You know, all the pain he's been through, and that's the little thing I'm thinking about. God, he's huge. Do we think he just took one, or do you think he took more than one? And he's still got enough control. Man. I mean, it's such an intense sequence. I mean, that entire act is just the fight in the crab factory, the fishery. But man, like,
Vander.
Take care of Powder.
and that's it. He's done, just like that. I mean, it's such an intense Act 1 climax. Like, this is just the setup for our overarching story. It's so painful.
It worked! My monkey bomb finally worked!
You did this?
I was saving you.
Yeah.
I only wanted to help. I only wanted to help my own.
I told you to stay away. I told you to stay away!
No! Why did you leave me?
Because you're a jinx!
No! No!
God. Like, the emotion in their voices, on their faces, like, animation shouldn't be able to do this. That still gets me so deeply, just like in the gut. Ugh. Tiger's goggles, this.
Please come back! Please! I need you, please!
Yeah. Like, this moment here blows me away. Because it's so easy to say that Silco's just using powder.
I'll kill you if he hears you.
But I actually think there's a whole lot more to it. Like, I think there's actual sympathy. There's...
Hello.
This comes from his good place.
Where's your sister?
He identifies with her.
She is not my sister anymore.
It's exactly how he felt when Vander tried to drown him years ago. And is messed up and everything. Like, that's a genuine
It's okay.
hug. He literally means all of this.
We will show them all.
And we start spiraling out from that too, as we pull away. go out of focus until it just sort of pixelates. It's just a little bit of light. The first time you see that episode, it's just mind-blowing because it has much greater loss than you expect. Like, we should never be surprised that characters die in stories like this. We shouldn't be expected to lose people, but we lost so many people in this episode. You know, from the opening beats, we lose Benzo and Grayson. The rescue is going surprisingly well. Like, Vi is actually holding off these hordes of henchmen, of Silco's henchmen, and Milo is actually picking all these difficult locks, and Clagger has found a way through the wall, and escape is imminent. And then boom, and it's like Vi has realistically already killed some of the henchmen, or they've fallen to their deaths after being punched in the head by a giant metal glove. But then the explosion itself, like, I never would have expected to lose Clagger and Milo like that. And then Vander sacrifices himself minutes later to save Vi. Like, it's just such a heavy body count, and not just in pure numbers, but so many of the characters we came to know just in the last 2 episodes. I mean, this is only the 3rd episode of the show. Just like in the span of 40 minutes are gone. And like, how do you process that? How do you cope with that? And characters, like, suddenly Vi has lost everybody all over again. You know what? Our opening scenes are when Vi and Powder are younger, and it's the failed uprising on the bridge, and they've lost everybody until Vander takes them in. It's just the 2 of them, and now they lose their brothers, they lose their father, and they lose each other in that moment of justifiable anger. I mean, because Vi knows that they were that close to getting out, and that she told Powder to stay behind. And Powder just wanted to help. Powder wanted to feel included. Powder wanted to feel valuable to the group, that she could contribute, because she wanted to make up for the failed robbery of just a couple of days ago. She wanted to prove herself. And that her intentions are completely relatable and understandable and even justifiable, but man, the just that scene is so raw. The agony that Vi's feeling as Vander dies, the joy on Powder's face coming around, going, it worked. She's so happy. She feels like she really saved the day. And then the realization that they both come to, you know, that almost simultaneously, Vi comes to the realization that the explosion was Powder's. I thought she fully clued into it when she saw the head of the monkey bomb up in the cell, but she fully realizes it down in the alley. And then Powder immediately realizes that no, she didn't save the day. She, in fact, did almost the complete opposite. And she's responsible for Vander's death. Like, that moment of realization wrecks them both. And Vi, being the older sister, being the leader, needs to be the one who puts her emotions aside and still does the right thing. But let's be real, she's like 15-year-old girl, you know, and she just lost her father for the 2nd time in her life. You know, this time her adoptive father, her foster father, whatever he is exactly, but she lost her father figure for the 2nd time in her life, and that's so incredibly painful. She couldn't save him, and her sister is the reason why. Like, her lashing out is is completely understandable. It's unfortunate and it's heartbreaking and it's raw and visceral and painful and all of this. But it's even, I don't even want to say it's wrong in the moment. It's natural. It's just terrible timing. And if it wasn't for Marcus chloroforming her and dragging her away, presumably straight off to prison at that point, then I honestly feel like Vi would have gone back and tried to get Powder back, apologized and made it up to her, and like they would have worked through it. But instead Vi gets hauled off to prison and loses Powder completely. She has no contact with her for the longest time. That episode, man, it's just so powerfully done. Like the setup is great. The first 20 minutes is good storytelling, but really what this episode all is entirely about is first the entire sequence in the fishery, the fight on the catwalk. It's thrilling and exciting. And it's encouraging because, like, we know Vi can fight, but she's like fighting like skinny street thugs, not, like criminal henchmen. Except here she is, and with Vander's cast iron gauntlets, she's kicking ass. She's holding her own, like 1 against 20, and So we're really learning even more about Vi through that scene. We get to see the effects of shimmer. We see that the effects, you get this rage out, the physical growth. I mean, you're basically hulking out, but it doesn't last long. It doesn't last long at all, and you need a refill to go again. And I can only imagine that among everything else, it's also incredibly addictive. Psychologically, chemically, but there's something quasi-magical about the shimmer as well, the sort of two competing technologies that are sort of rising to prominence in Piltover at the exact same time. The shimmer on the one side and the hex tech on the other, and that's what this battle is going to turn into. I've been emotionally impacted by animation before. We've all cried in Pixar movies. Good story can do that no matter what the medium. But I've rarely been, I feel, so visceral, like emotionally raw and bare. It's scenes like the one between Vi and Powder at the end. That wild crying, the lashing out, the tears, the sobbing. It's so primal, it's so raw and unfiltered. There are no masks, there's no acting, there's just raw emotion. I'm not sure I've ever seen a scene like that in animation and have it be effective to that degree. I wish I understood more of the technique that these animators use, because it feels like they filmed the scene and then just painted over it to animate it. It feels that real. It feels that emotional. It's really one of the best scenes I've seen in recent memory. Just really brilliant television, and it happens to be an animated cartoon about video game characters. Which blows my mind, but thank God I found the show. I'm loving it. I'm loving the journey. Thank you guys for joining me. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about this show and maybe other things, like I said in the preamble, other animation that you may think I'd be interested in seeing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm really willing to explore anything and everything. Eventually, I'll get to everything, but I am open to anything as far as what you'd like to see me react to. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in that regard. Thank you guys for joining me. Until next time, everybody, take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.